社長には内緒だぞ。
ランポさんの超推理。ついにカムイの正体がわかる。
You know, I've been suspecting that the guy he trusts is the Fukuchi, is KAMUI. Hi everyone, I'm going to react to Bungo Stray Dogs Season 5, Episode 2. The answer to everything. Last episode, Rumple. Rumple, with the help of Po, basically rescued like every member of the detective. Well, not every member, but Kunikida and Yosano and Katai, I believe. Fukuzawa, of course. He like rescued them, and then he had this conference where he revealed like the truth about the Angels of Decay, how truth about the page and everything. He was just basically telling the law enforcement officials not to think with their souls, basically, and actually figure out the truth and all. I'm like, oh, it was so cool. So yeah, that's what happened last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/feelingmini. And now let's start this episode. And here we go. Oh my gosh. Baby, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of myself for feeling like it was gonna be a Kutagawa. I probably said that. Oh, I have my glasses on. I forgot. I probably said that because we haven't seen Hitmila forever. I remember asking myself, I don't know if it was last episode or the previous one. I don't know. I'm like, Akutaga, where have you been? Okay, where have you been? And then he's like, I'm alone. I'm afraid of being alone. Someone please help. And I'm like, Akutaga just popped into my mind. And then I heard the voice. I'm seeing the black colored hair, but the hair didn't quite look like his hair. It wasn't until he took off his cap or whatever. And I'm like, so that was the impossible prophecy that he was talking about. The impossible prophecy came true. Is this something we've seen before? I don't know. But, I also figured it out before before Rompo did his ultra deduction thing. I'm like, please don't tell me it's Fukuchi, because something was telling me. I don't know, but either way, like I was asking myself many episodes ago, that I didn't trust anybody. When they said at one point that they don't know who the fifth member was or something, they've never seen. What am I talking about again? Oh no, I'm talking about something else. That's the hunting dogs. They said the hunting dogs have the fifth member, and so that one was Tachihara. No, but like when they were talking about, you have all these members in the Decay of Angels, and they talked about last episode. They revealed that there's the one that's basically controlling everybody was KAMUI. Ever since the Decay of Angels thing has been introduced, I've always asked myself whether he was not part of the government, someone in a high level position where he can affect a whole lot of things. I've always asked myself that. So when this episode, Asuchi was asking Rumple to use his ultra deduction to figure out who KAMUI is, and then when he was like, oh, I'm thirsty, and then Asuchi like immediately presented him with his favorite kind of drink, I guess. and he drank it, and he was about to put on his glasses. I saw a movement from Fukuchi. I think that's what tipped me off. Like, I don't know if he was like reaching for his sword or something. Like I saw something that made me think, wait a second, could it be him? You know? And then as Rumple was using his ultra deduction, and everything he was saying, like each phrase that he kept, each sentence he kept like saying, as he said was one thing, I'm like, okay, that fits with Kamui, not Kamui and Fukuchi. When he said the second thing, I'm like, oh, Fukuchi. Third thing, Fukuchi. I'm like, it has to be Fukuchi, right? And it's him. And he's like, okay, like, how do I deal with this? I only have a few seconds. Because he probably figured out that I figured out that it was him. So what am I supposed to do? And then he went to the thing, brought out a flare, launched the flare, and then used, I guess he said, no, so Asushi was the one that said it, that he had a book from Rumple, a page from Rumple, where some Paul wrote something in there to sort of suck him into it in case he's in danger or something or other like that. You know, when he was activating that page, I thought he was gonna save, excuse me, he was gonna save what's it called, Asushi, in that particular moment. For some reason, like he was gonna sacrifice himself for Asushi, and I was like so worried that they were gonna kill Roppo off. Like, I really was. But then he was the one that got stuck in there, and then as he was getting sucked into the page, he was telling Asushi to run, that he doesn't stand a chance. And then he was like telling something about Kamui's ability and all of that. I'm like, they didn't like completely let it out, you know? So I couldn't quite hear what he was saying. I didn't figure it out at that particular moment. And then he basically revealed himself, you know, as being Kamui. And he gave Asushi two choices. You either run, or you either stay and fight. And I'm telling myself, Asushi, run, because that's the last thing that Rumple told him to. And with Rumple being Rumple, I'm thinking, okay, this guy has seen how this thing will play out. And then he's telling Asushi to run, because that would be the best option. That's what I'm thinking. But because Kamui dangled the book, the page, in front of him, Asushi's like, I can't go anywhere, because that's what we need. We need that to unravel everything that's going on, to prove our innocence and all of that. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna stand and fight. And he's like, oh, how are you gonna stand and fight when you said something about his leg? I don't quite remember what he said, but I knew he cut it off. And like, we didn't actually see it, we just saw the leg like. And then he was like, how the heck did he do that? And he's like, don't you remember what your friend told you? And that's when they told us that he amplifies like any weapon that he uses, he can amplify its strength or ability or something, like 100-fold or something or other like that. So it's like, it was super easy for him to cut his leg off. But then he started regenerating. So Kamui is like, okay, nice. But I wonder if you're going to be able to regenerate your head if I cut it off. And then that's when Asushi started feeling fear. And it's like, not fear of dying, but fear of being alone. And I couldn't help, as he was saying that, I couldn't help but remember the tears in his eyes as he saw everybody else in Lucie's world. You know, how happy he was to see them. Because like I said, he used to be alone, but now he has all these people around him. So, you know, when you're used to being alone, loneliness doesn't really bother you. It's when you have form an attachment to other people that are now a part of your life. When you lose that, that's when you start actually feeling the loneliness. Okay, you might be feeling lonely before you knew these people, but that loneliness is going to be increased like 100-fold if you were to lose all those people. So I understand when he was saying that he was afraid of being alone, you know. And then he guess who shows up over there. I wonder if the flare that Rampo launched, was it to signal Kutagawa or not? Like, why did he launch that flare? I mean, if he just wanted to like leave, he could have just left, right? Or was the flare supposed to blur? Was it obstructing Kamui's vision as he took out his post page and activated the ability? Like, I don't know. I'm just wondering what that flare was about. But yeah, so now, and when he realized that he messed up, Rumple, because when he had that meeting with Kamui, he could have used his ability. Had he used his ability, he would have figured out that, okay, this is I can trust this person. This is Kamui. But because he trusts the president, and the president trusted his friend, that's why Rampo was like, I can trust this person. And on the outside, he's the leader of the hunting dogs. You have all these people from all these countries that know about him, that idolize him. He's now the leader of this brand new, whatever they were called, the army of mankind. He's now leading this army. So this guy is basically at the top of the world. And in front of everybody, he's the essence of law and enforcement or whatever. So of course, when Fukuzawa tells you, okay, I trust this person implicitly, you're gonna believe it, So he didn't feel the need of trying to gauge who this person was, how he was gonna respond to his attempt of having them help him, So it's like, of course, and here I thought, when those two people showed up and were trying to ask him to lead this army or whatever, counterterrorism, war from all different no borders or whatever, and then he's like, so you guys still believe, yes, he said something along those lines, so you guys still believe that the agency is this terrorist or whatever. So I'm like, okay, is it because of his interaction with Fukuzawa when he was telling Fukuzawa to tell the others to basically surrender themselves, and they sort of like exchanging blows a little bit? I'm like, did Fukuzawa change his mind about the fact that they were, that the agency was not the terrorists that they were being made to believe to be? But no, he knew they weren't terrorists because he's behind the whole plot. Oh, yeah. Oh, when Minora, like after that, during the press conference, there were all these police officers that showed up, right? So they captured Rampo and he was being transported. And when I saw that thing that was just thrown along the road to puncture the tire and whatnot to stop the police officers, the car that was carrying Rampo. At first, I thought it was Kamui. Kamui's plan was to kill the members of the agency, right? So I'm thinking, okay, Kamui is gonna be the one. He's doing that so that he can get to Rampo. But it turns out to be Minora, and he just came there and was trying to save And then also when that was happening, when they stopped the car and everything, I'm like that. Rumble must know that this is gonna happen. This was gonna happen, right? So and then it was Minora, and I'm like, yay! And then they were sort of like running away. But then you have all these other police officers that showed up to try to capture them. But then you have other police officers that also showed up to protect Rumble, and I'm like, oh, I love that scene so much. I also love the scene where everyone was there in and Lucy's room, and this showed. So this dude actually cut off, bruh. Wait a second. When I saw that his hands were not there anymore, I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, here I am. Now that I'm talking about it, asking myself, when exactly did they cut off his hand? And then I'm remembering that scene where he was in his room, in a room, and then the blind dude showed up and was like, how are you going to be able to fulfill your ideals if you don't have any hands or something? And then as he was leaving, he said that, and then he also mentioned the fact that they were going to kill your son was going to be executed the next day or something or other like that. So, and then you hear Kunikida like screaming, and then you see his sickly face, like having this sick look on his face, this sick smile on his face, walking away. So I'm like, when exactly did they cut off his hand? Did he cut it off before he was leaving the room, and that's why Kunikida was screaming? Or I thought when he was screaming that it was because of, the fact that they said that they were going to kill Yosano and he was going to be able to do anything about it. And he was, his ideals and stuff. I thought that's why he was screaming. But now I'm wondering if it was because this dude that cut off his hands and Kunikida was in agony over that, and that's why he was screaming. But either way, everybody was there. So Yosano, and it's like, I can fix him. And I'm like, yay. And then I think it was, I don't know if it was Kunikida or Rampo that said that, it was Kunikida that said that this agency, like everyone has these strengths that can sort of like help each other. So when someone is injured, it's like Yosano's thing. And when they're captured, it's like Rampo's thing. So it's like, I don't know. I just love that scene, man. I love seeing all of them together. Well, it wasn't all of them because Kenji wasn't there and Tanizaki's not there either. Even Fukuzawa's not there, but like still, like just to see them, that little group there, that was so funny. What else happened this episode? Like, I don't know. But yeah, this Fukuchi being Kamui and then him now having all this control. This is not good. It's not gonna be good at all. I was just reading a comment that said, I love Rumpo's little run. And then I'm like, how I said that I thought that Rumpo was going to save Asushi? And that's why he whipped out the page. But then I'm like, if you want, yes, Asushi is an important member of the detective agency, but for everything to be actually resolved, we need Rumpo alive. Okay, so the fact that he saved himself, I feel like that's the best thing that he could have done in that situation. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to the next episode, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/feelingminute, and you can also see the full length of this reaction as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Step into the grand tour. Dragon Ball GT.